So though, I mean, now we have talked about a number of very good films so far in this podcast, and perhaps even an excellent film. But none of those are the best films, because none of them are the worst of films. So what we're going to talk about now is come on.
That's right, it is Capone.
Scott, that's me, come on.
Yes, Capone, in which we follow Al Capone, who was apparently 48 when he died after a heart attack following a few years of ill health following complications from syphilis. This came as a slight surprise to me on checking, as Tom Hardy's portrayal here in Josh Trank's film has him looking closer to 80. This is, well, quite what this film is open to interpretation, I suppose, but we at least join him in very poor, already brain-damaged health at his Florida mansion after his release from prison on compassionate grounds. Inasmuch as there's any plot to this, there's some mention of Capone having buried a few $1 million somewhere but can't quite remember where, with both the cops and his family wanting to find out where this probably imaginary stash is stashed. However, saying that this is in any way relevant to what's going on in Capone would be entirely misleading. Most of this film, and certainly the bulk of the memorable bits you'd want to make a gif out of, happens inside Capone's misfiring grey matter, and it is bonkers, mainly by containing a Tom Hardy performance where he looks just as confused as baffled by everything that's going on as the audience does. I'm not sure there's a lot of point in recapping it further, other than to say that it features a confused Capone chomping cigars as cigar replacements, shuffling through a Prohibition-era party to confusedly join Louis Armstrong on stage, and later on, looking like a bloated corpse, clad in a dressing gown and nappies, shuffling around on a murder rampage with a gold-plated Tommy gun. On the one hand, you could argue that any cinematic portrayal of Capone is an act of glorification, so I suppose that's why he's undergoing at least 3 rapid unscheduled bowel evacuation events. On the other hand, I suppose you could see it as making fun of the mentally ill, but it's Al Capone, so who cares? Hot take, Al Capone was bad. Josh Trank, of course, was last seen 5 years ago making The Fantastic Four and then having the studio decide to remake most of it, by all accounts, so perhaps that festival of blandness should not be held against him. After all, Capone is certainly a lot more memorable. It's also absolutely awful, with Hardy putting in his most laughable performance to date, like Bane-off Batman had he been dosed with Quaaludes and left in salty water for a decade. It's never less than hypnotically abysmal, and combined with the Poundland Lynchian feel of these dream sequences, this film is never less than dreadfully entertaining. The best worst film I've seen in a while. Highly recommended for being atrocious.
It's awful. It's entertainingly dreadful and dreadfully entertaining. It's,
yes. I laughed so much, Drew. I laughed so much. What are they doing with this film? What was the meaning of it? Why have they done anything that's happening in this film? Why is Matt Dillon chopping his eyeballs out and presenting them to... What's going on?
You could just stop at why, Scott. This film, I don't understand what this film's trying to do or say, because if it's all like invented stuff in Al Capone's head, it doesn't tell you anything about his character. You've clearly invented that whole cloth.
Yes.
And you, not that anybody could know it anyway, like from you from interview or anything. It's the weirdest damn film. I'm like, what is going on?
How do you pitch this? Who signs off in this pitch and goes, yeah, that's probably about right. Nappies, gold-plated Tommy gun, yeah, on board. Here's a few million quid. Yeah, why?
Yeah, presumably this is one of those films where, Tom Hardy did it to prove that he is, as Craig put it in our Slack channel last night, acting TM.
Yes. Look at my range.
Yes, I can...
Defecate myself. Yes.
I can mumble both coherently and incoherently. It's the weirdest film, as I said. I don't understand the point of it. It's not interesting. It's not giving any insight into a character. It's not giving any insight into the disease. It's maybe giving insight into Josh Trank. But I mean, it's awful, but I'm kind of glad I watched it because it was just so ridiculous.
Yes. I'm not going to say it's in any way good, but I probably enjoyed it more than any other film we spoke about today. It's just absolutely bafflingly nuts and dreadful. And, it's garbage, but it's entertaining garbage.
I certainly didn't enjoy it that much, but it's... I mean, you're already setting yourself up at a disadvantage by being about Al Capone. But Al Capone's a fascinating character, and so therefore can be really interesting. Like the obvious go-to, I think, is Robert De Niro in The Untouchables. So that's like charismatic gangster who's like the foil for our hero, and then you've got Stephen Graham's portrayal of Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire, which I actually quite like. I've come to like Stephen Graham a bit more in recent years. And then there's this, who is not noticeably Al Capone in any way, shape or form. And apparently it's even important that they don't call him Al. I don't understand that.
I don't understand a lot of things that's happening in this film, Drew. All merges into each other.
Talking of understanding and things happening in film, Scott, here's the big problem I have with this film. Like, I don't think Josh Trank understands how films work. Because it's one thing to have the thing seemingly happening inside Tom Hardy's head, but things that are seen from the point of view of other characters are also partly happening inside his head. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, when Matt Dillon appears at the first point, it's like, well, didn't Linda Cardellini phone him? So how is it suddenly a figment of Al Capone's imagination?
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. And there's a few bits like that. It's like, like, you kind of have to, when you're showing it from a different person's point of view, you can't have it be somebody else's. Oh no, it's really bad. It's a badly made film, badly acted. I mean, I feel sorry for people like Linda Cardellini because they give it their best, right? What Josh Trank and Tom Hardy thought they were doing together, I have no idea. It's a glorious mess of a film. I'm
delighted that they're doing whatever the hell it is they're doing, because I laughed my ass off. It's an awful, awful film. And what I cannot fathom why any decision that was made in this film is. I mean, it's all the more baffling when you think of a film like this, where there was surely some discussion going on as to why anyone would play anything like it's happening, why anything that's happening would happen the way that it happens. How those discussions got to the point of this end product is absolutely baffling to me, and I love it, because I cannot imagine the madness that is on display here coming from any sort of position of sanity. This has got to be just some drug-induced nightmare of everyone involved. And yes, it's nuts. It's stupid. I hate it. I love it.
I'm never going to watch this again, but I can imagine getting quite a lot of use out of GIFs based on certain scenes in this film.
Yes.
A number of ridiculously startled expressions on a syphilitic, sore, infected face of Al Capone and Tom Hardy. This is this is now a thing that I have seen, but I know, like other things that I have seen, I don't think I'll ever be forgetting this one.
Yes, and that's the point. Whether it's good or bad, it's at least memorable. And to be clear, when we say whether it's good or bad, we mean it's bad. It is bad.